Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to tonight's presentation of the Mud Rebels Dirt League here at the virtual Volusia Speedway Park. Of course, I am your host, Charles Wooten. Alongside me is Nolan Rempel. Nolan, we are here for the second race of the night, and I believe you said like your fifth. So we got some more dirt slinging to go before this night is wrapped up.
Oh, absolutely. We just came off a 40-lap race over at the Knoxville Speedway. That was, of course, with the UMP Modified. Same league. That race wrapping up just over an hour ago. And now, well, we're here again. Slightly bigger field. Looking to be 23 cars registered. 21 currently with us on the course. So a much bigger field and arguably a much tighter track as well.
It's going to be a much tighter track, a much bigger field, and these guys are booking it around this track just to look at some times here. About 14 seconds compared to 19 to 20 seconds over at Knoxville. Of course, again, a little bit bigger track, but now instead of 3 laps a minute, we're going to be running 4 laps a minute. So how does this translate into time? Well, really, that kind of depends on how many cautions we have here tonight, as caution laps, again, not counting as of just recently with iRacing putting that update out.
So everything is looking to shape up for a very exciting race. Same type of format. It's going to be 10-lap heats this time, not 8-lap heats. Again, top 3 are going to be making it into the feature, but with a maximum ability to have a 24-car field and currently 23 registered, it does not look like we're going to be having a last chance qualifier. Like I said, we're probably going to get these heats in to set the grid for the race and then go straight into your 50-lap main event tonight.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see everybody make it. You know, I just talked about that. I'd like to see everybody make it and have a solid field. And we've got 11, a lot of our drivers here from that last race. We got BJ back, Dustin Sizemore, Tanner Tomasi. Then we have some new drivers like Eric Scaff, Mario Perez coming in. We'll see Colton. Wow, we'll get that right. Colton Kapasky going to be here tonight. Sapasky. So we got some new drivers. We got some old drivers. It'll be interesting to see. And I'm butchered that. It's Sapansky, my bad. But new faces, old faces. It'll be interesting to see how they mix it up here with these fast machines tonight.
Oh yes, absolutely. The UMP modified significantly slower than these super late models, so it's going to be a very high-paced race today. And what that likely means is with that tighter track, it's going to be a lot more beating and banging as well. You know, the last race at Knoxville, the track is a bit wider, so there's a lot more kind of wriggle room, so to speak, to kind of throw the car around. Not so much here at Volusia. It is much tighter, and right now at the top side of the racetrack, there is really not that second line. A lot of the drivers were trying to run down low for this one. It really is quite a lot of still loose dirt that's stuck up at the top side. Some drivers have been running up there trying to get it cleaned off, but it's going to make getting that outside line a bit difficult to get it to come into play here.
Yeah, and you'll see it in asphalt racing just a little bit, but you really see it here in dirt track racing during these hot lap sessions and practice sessions. Like you mentioned just now, those drivers are going to try to pack in, roll in, whatever you want to call it, the spot that they want to run later on in the night. And that's a key. If they want to run up there, they need to make it to their liking. They don't want it to be too slicked off, but at the same time, they don't want it to be sloppy and wet either. So you have a happy medium in there that you have to find. That's what they're out there doing, running those lines that they want to run later on this feature. And I see some at the top, some in the middle, and a lot at the bottom.
Of course, it's going to be a big question as well is, of course, overtaking and slide jobs. Of course, never easy on a dirt track, especially one that is as tight as Volusia. So the opportunities for slide jobs are kind of few and far between. We're most likely going to be seeing drivers more trying to battle side by side for more like 2-3 laps or more even at one time. And I'm thinking that we had 2 cautions in that last race. And at this point, what we got for here at this point, I'm thinking that we're probably going to get a higher number because these cars are faster, the track is tougher, and from what I can see, it's looking a little bit slicker as well.
Yeah, and these cars too, a little bit different from the mods. Those mods are similar as they have the point on the front. These cars have that little scoop there on the front. Unfortunately, if you get into somebody, it's not a scoop of ice cream, and you ain't gonna like it very much, as that nose can really get under somebody's car, and they can pick the back end of their car up, and you don't have any grip on them back tires, and if you go to turn, you're probably just going to get spun out if that's the case, or have a multi-car wreck. So I'm with you. I do expect to see possibly 3, maybe 4 cautions here at this race. Also, a shorter track, faster cars. Well, that's a recipe for cautions.
One thing I would like to make note of as well is the outside wall of round 1 and 2. Note there's not a catch fence right on top of the wall. There's a bit of grass on the top of the hill there. And we've even seen in this practice session 1 and 2 cars that have gotten to the wall, and as a result actually got turned up on top of that grass embankment up there on the top side of the racetrack. So that'll be something to look at as well, because if your car gets turned up there, they're technically off the racing surface, so might not see a caution. Practice, though, has finished up. We're ready to go for our 3-minute qualifying shootout.
3-minute qualifying, and of course, it looks like we are into daytime here for qualifying. Again, a newer feature here on iRacing with that day transition there. It goes from night to day, so we'll say that was maybe Friday night. This is Saturday morning, per se. As the sun is out and shining, we'll bring down your sidebar on to the screen for qualifying. Again, a couple of new faces in here. We're going to jump over and watch that number 77 machine of Colton Sapansky. And we'll see how he stacks up. But everybody out on track for the most part. We have about maybe 8 drivers that are not on track qualifying.
Currently looking to be at about 7:30 p.m. So we are going to be racing back into the night and under the lights, assuming the time does not change again. Colton Sapansky not able to go for the pole. He's currently 3rd out of 4 drivers. Currently on pole is Chris Fisher, who was in the last race with a 16.367 and already rounding for his 2nd lap. Checkered flag flies, and unfortunately, that looks like it was a slower lap, and it was by a good 10th. So Sapansky, not the best qualifying run for him. And right now, Blake Brown currently on provisional pole with his 2:35 in the 16-second bracket so far. All drivers are within that 16-second range, all about half a second from first down to what is currently provisional last in terms of times that have been set.
And he just left the track, but noticing on the hood of Blake Brown, that Team VLR number 74B, Schaefer's Specialized Lubricants. And of course, we want to shout them out real quick. LSRTV will be covering the 13th annual Schaefer's Oil Spring Fling, April 7th, 8th, and 9th, with a $14,000 purse. So that one will be interesting as we're watching Michael Elledge for the first time get into the outside wall.
So unfortunate for Michael Elledge, who is, it's a very slow time for him, I'm afraid. 2 seconds off of Drew Phillips' time, and on a dirt oval, that is a lifetime. So disastrous qualifying there for Elledge. Really not having the day he wanted to have, an 18.854. Compared to Drew Phillips' 16.786. Times are continuing to come down. Zach McSwain currently on pole with a 16 flat, a 16.007, and he's still turning laps. Might as well get that extra bit of practice in there, but currently looking like we might have 1 or 2 drivers that might seek to break that 15-second bracket. 7,000 of a second. I think it's doable.
Yeah, I think it is too. And, I'm looking at the side of this car here for that 25 of Zach McSwain. Is what is shown on the car, 7 being in the scoring tower. It says bad racing. Well, they need to throw another word in there, and it needs to be fast. Bad fast racing, because that's what kind of time he's putting in right now. 0.228 faster as the time's going to come to an end here for qualifying. And it looks like we are going to have, we'll see, 3 heat races. So 1 more heat race than we had for the first round of racing in the UMP Modifieds. So I'll quickly run through our first grid. Row 1 is going to be Zach McSwain in that 7 machine and the 13 of Robert Tucker. Row 2 is going to be the 26 of Eric Scaff and the 77 of Colton Sapansky. And row 3 is going to be, I believe that's Evan C. I believe it's correct. We'll get correct pronunciation on that for sure. The number 2 of Kevin Payne. And row 4 going to be the 22 of Drew Phillips and the 95 of Chad Bishop. And that is going to do it for your starting grid here for heat race number 1. And I'm not sure, it's either C or C. I'm not sure on the correct one on that one.
And it looks like it might be safe for Evans, so we'll have to see, and we'll probably get some confirmation on that in at one point or another. But 8-car grid so far for us today, so it's looking like we're going to be having a good one. But doesn't look like we're going to be having Chad Bishop joining us. It is showing that Chad Bishop currently not at the racetrack, so it is turned into a 7-car heat. Of course, if we did have an LCQ, it would be the top 3 to get into the main event. At this point in time, though, we're not thinking that we are going to be having that LCQ. It looks like we're going to be going right into the main event, and these heats are just going to be to decide the starting grid for your main event today. Zach McSwain going to be the one to lead them off with Robert Tucker on that outside line.
And just to get an extra excitement here, we do have a really cool flagman here with us who has allowed us to put a camera right there on the flag stand. So when we go racing here for the restarts, we have that flag stand cam. So you get to see these guys come barreling down the front stretch here. Gonna be an awesome shot there. As the lights are off, we will go racing for the first time here at Volusia Speedway for the night. Again, the question is, how is it going to go? We know there won't be any cautions in the heats. They're turned off, but that feature may have some. I'm looking for some really fast laps here. Is this track still roughly pretty fresh?
So pretty fresh. That is going to not be the case for long, as they're going to start to really pound that dirt in and sling some mud right up into the guardrail. Pace Strutton looking to pull off, and McSwain gets on the power early. Great flag race in Volusia for the super late model race here tonight.
And McSwain popping it three-wheeling it through corner number 1. As we're going to see a little bit of that here. And we are getting confirmation that they believe it is pronounced C. So, and of course we know there won't be a B main, but that bad fast racing number 25 out front, Eric Scaff has his hands for it now as they're almost 3 wide for second place.
Evan C. managing to pull that 3 wide pass around the bottom of 1 and 2. He's got that move secured for one of those positions. Now he's trapped over there in third in what would be the final transfer spot. Battle going behind him as well. Kennedy Payne making a little bit of contact with Colin Sapansky. And now Payne throws it really deep, trying to carry some momentum around that outside line. We saw that at Knoxville. You were able to carry a lot of momentum around the outside. Of course, late models handle very, very differently. Volusia is a very, very different racetrack from Knoxville, so we'll have to wait and see how that will play, especially in the main event. And right now, though, Evan C. looks like he might be trying to make a move on Eric Scaff soon here for second place.
Yeah, and I'm curious here as we'll go on aboard here on that roll bar cam with the 33 of Evan C. and see just how that sun is shining. As you see, it's kind of dark right here where they're at, but then the way come into this next corner, this track is almost golden looking. Looks really nice, and we'll see just how that does play off as they're coming right in here. It gets really bright, so good news is the sun doesn't look to be a factor here in their eyes too much, but one side of this track definitely lit up a little bit more.
Around. And the caution has just come out. 1 car around on the back straightaway, and that was Robert Tucker that has taken a slide. It was a 360-degree spin. There was contact in the one that was worth noting. Trying to go 3 wide. Kenneth Payne tried to throw it up the middle and threw it in too deep with the 13 car. Innocent bystander while Payne was trying to hold off Colton Sapansky.
And that makes me stand corrected. I did not think cautions would be on here in the heats. They are on in the heats. And we'll see if the caution laps are counting in heats. I know the other day they were not. I'm not sure if that was a fact or not. There's the contact, and around he goes. And, ooh, like you said, got hit again to bring out our first caution of the night. And we'll see if those caution laps are counting here in the heat races or not. And, indeed, they are not counting as it is still at 3 laps. So, again, that was an issue we had the other night. They were counting in the heats, but not in the feature. So it looks like that was a glitch, and it's sorted out. So we're going to have every lap of every race tonight actually run under green.
Right now, it is looking like it's going to be a 2-lap sprint to the finish for this one. 4 green-white checkered attempts just looking for the heat, so things might get a little bit dicey here when we get down to the restart. Zach McSwain looking to play around with the pace truck a little bit, give him a little bit of a scare over there. So it's going to be an interesting one. You know, these cautions, they are quite quick cautions. And already we are lights out with 1 to green, and it's going to be a 2-lap sprint when we go back green.
Yeah, they'll be looking for that restart zone. Again, you've got to have an even start. So we'll be looking to see a good even start here between the number 25 and the 26. Out front, Zach McSwain in the 25, Eric Scaff in the 26. And this is, bad news if you're that 25 machinist. This bunches this field back up, and he had a sizable lead. This could hinder him a chance at getting that win. We'll see if he can get that start he needs, as we are just moments away from that green flag dropping one more time. There it is, and green flag is out. We're racing to the end here with the green-white checkered. 2 laps to go. It's still McSwain out front.
And it looks like it's looking to be staying that way. So far, Evan C. able to hold that inside line, and a bit of a contact behind him. That was Colton Chapansky to get a little bit of sideways with contact in the middle of that corner, but still, the car's thrown all over the place. White flag in the air this time.
1 lap to go for that 25 machinist. He's going to be coming to the flag stand. And there he is right there, everybody crossing in your race. A winner for heat race 1 will be McSwain, followed by C, Scaff, Payne, Savansky, Tucker, and Phillips. And of course, we had 1 scratch in that race as we get ready for heat race number 2 here tonight. You want to run through that lineup for us?
Well, it's going to be Blake L. Brown currently sitting on pole position with Dustin Sizemore down to second place. Had some little bit of connection. It looks like we might have another scratch. It looks like he's having some serious connection issues. So Sizemore going to be a no-show for heat number 2. Daniel Passmore, well, look at that, Sizemore and Passmore, starting in 3rd place with BJ Will Duvall in 4th place. Barry Sorensen in 5th place. Of course, he said he was looking to do big things tonight, looking to get a top 5, if not a race win in tonight's race, with Tanner Folds in 6th. Michael Elledge in 7th place, who again, looking like is going to be a no-show, with Edward Pancoast also a no-show. It's going to be a 5-car heat here for this one.
Yeah, a small heat race here. At a local track here, this might be a normal race. A normal heat race, but it's a little short here. 5 to 8 cars, sometimes 10 would be a heat race, so still not a bad heat race. It's going to be that 74B of Blake Brown, sporting a lot of sponsors on there. VLR, Schaefer's Oil, Dirty Grass Hole. We got iRacing iFlag on there. So if he ends up in victory lane, he's going to have a lot of people to thank.
And so, Dustin Sizemore has once again rejoined us at the racetrack, so we'll have to see what will be able to happen for him. Will he be able to get on the track, you think? Might try to get those laps, and if anybody crashes out, it'll be good. But no, he's already out again. So Sizemore, he might be a no-show for the main event tonight as well, because it seems like whatever issues he's having, they are pretty substantial, and he is just struggling so much to be able to keep that down. But we'll have to wait and see how this will play out. Pace truck going to lead them down to pit road. It's going to be in the hands of Blake L. Brown, who once again jumps on it immediately. Green flag flies.
We are racing, and we saw the 11 of Sizemore having internet issues and connectivity issues last night as well. He did end up getting it sorted out and was able to race, so we'll see if he's able to. But like I said, it's going to be iffy with him as Blake Brown out front, BJ Wildval right behind him. They got a good little battle going on between BJ and Daniel Passmore for that second position. They're side by side.
Passmore really hugging that inside line, but it's just he's not able to carry the momentum off. You saw just how powerful Duvall's run was around that outside line. He's still trying to put it down there. It's not good on the entry, but you can just pull it so good on the exit. You can get that power down. Passmore's really got to try to make something work on the entry, and that's where he's got to get around him. Otherwise, he's just going to be eaten up on the outside when they get to the exit of the corner.
Yeah, and that outside lane, you notice we just watched, I believe that's a 32 of Passmore. He's running that high side, and he's ever so slightly. You see that dirt flying up. They're pushing that cushion further and further up the track. And with as many features heats we have only being 3, I don't think we're going to push that cushion all the way to the top. So we would and should see a lot of action up on the top of the track in that feature race.
Look at Duvall trying to throw it in underneath Blake L. Brown. They're almost door to door as they went side by side through turns 1 and 2, and now back through 3 and 4. And BJ still trying to find a way through and almost making contact off of the corner. 4 laps to go here in heat number 2.
As sheet metal is being rubbed, fenders are being bent. Let's hope tempers aren't being flared here tonight at the virtual Volusia Speedway Park. As the 8 of Daniel Passmore wasn't in this group, but that little contact through the 74B and the 32 has allowed him to catch back up, and now the battle for second place back underway. And now the 74B of Blake Brown pulling away, but we may have a new second place here as Passmore going to try to make something on the bottom for that pass.
Well, again, though, I don't think he's going to be able to make that work. He just can't get the momentum on the exit, can't get the power down as much as he'd like to, and that's one of the benefits of running that outside line. You can keep your foot in the throttle a lot more through the corner because you don't have as tight of a radius. The white flag flies, and well, it looks like BJ will be able to hold on to that second place. Don't think he'll be able to go for the heat win, though.
No, don't think he's going to get the heat win either. Blake Brown going to be putting their Schaefer's oil machine into victory lane as he's coming to do it right there. And he will be your heat race 1 winner here tonight. Or is that heat race 2? Heat race 2, my badness. We've already completed 1. They've gone by so quick. Lost count of what we were at.
Tanner Folds had a slight glance off that inside or off that outside wall, which goes to show you there is still, of course, the hazard of running close to that wall, or you could end up bouncing off of it. And at the moment, it is looking like we are going to be able to have the full 7-car grid here for heat number 3.
It does indeed look like it. We'll run through it real quick. On your starting row is going to be that 5 of Chris Fisher. On his outside, the 09 of Tanner Tomasi. Should be a good battle between those two. Row 2 is going to be the 71 of Mario Perez, a new driver we didn't see in race number 1. And Gavin Jordan, another new driver here. So we got the veterans on row 1 and the rookies on row 2. Row 3 is going to be Devin Thompson and Michael Blessing. So we got a pair of rookies in row 2, veterans in row 1, and a mixed split on row 3. And row 4, a seasoned veteran, Jacob Fields, who finished very well in the UMP Modifieds, starting at the back of this heat race, and this, of course, being your third and final heat race of the night.
I would expect Jacob Fields to be able to have a little bit of a charge here. He did not ever set a qualifying time, but he is. I would expect him to be able to charge up through the field. He did finish second place and only lost out by .047, so less than half a tenth of a second he lost that out by. So it's going to be a very tight field, and it looks like Fields might try to work his way up after not setting a qualifying time.
It'll be interesting to see if he can. Like I said, I'm with you. I think he can do it. It'll just be a matter of how quickly he can do it. Again, you only have 10 laps per heat race, so that gives him an extra 2 laps compared to the UMP Modifieds as the green flag is out, and we are officially racing. And Chris Fisher on the move. He has hit the gas, and he pulled away to a almost half a second lead quickly.
Jacob Fields not wasting any time. He's already up into 6th place and looking to make the charge on Devin Thompson around that bottom side. Battle for 4th is on as well, with Gavin Jordan trying to get back around Mario Perez. Fight for the lead is on as well, as Tomasi up on the inside of Fisher. Can't make anything work though on that bottom side of the racetrack. It's just so hard to find the momentum you need down there, side by side, all the way out to the field.
And they are side by side. And we'll see. Interesting to see Fields running the 75 on the car, but scored as 007. That's the number we all know him as. But a nice looking ride there. But yes, they are side by side. Looking at the number 71 of Mario Perez, doing a good job. He's running towards the high side of this track. And actually more towards the middle. So interesting to see. I've seen a couple of drivers running that middle line. They're not running all the way at the top, and they're not running all the way at the bottom either. So again, my whole theory for this feature race may be a little skewed.
Well, let's wait and see just how this will play out. Right now, they are single filed out as we hit the halfway point in your third and final heat of the day. Still, every driver in this field just under 4 seconds apart from first down to Michael Blessing in 7th place. And right now, Chris Fisher, he is looking to definitely take the fight to the field and be able to clinch, first place in a win for his heat. But here comes that 09 machine of Tanner Tomasi side by side off of turn number 2. Can he make it work at 3 and 4? Don't think he'll be able to. Behind them, Jacob Fields trying to have a go, and Mario Perez side by side for 4th and 3rd as well. So Fields, he is on the move, just as we predicted. He's looking for a podium position here in this heat.
And we got a battle for the lead, a battle for second. Battles are all over this track right now as we come up on 2 laps to go. The battle for second, the closest, that's where we'll hang in. But that battle for the lead starting to heat up as Tomasi down to the bottom side of the 09. Can he get it? He's right there, but I think he's just going to come up a little bit short. It's going to be a 1 lap to go when we get to the flag stand this time by. White flag is in the air with the battle for the lead underway.
Tomasi, can he make anything work under Fisher through 1 and 2, side by side down the back straightaway? That outside line has got a lot of momentum through 3 and 4. Tomasi pushing up the track. No, he won't be able to get there though. Fisher pulls the outside line. Checker flag flies for Fisher. And down the order is going to be Tomasi, Perez, Fields, Thompson, Jordan, who both made contact in the closing laps, with Michael Blessing rounding off the 7-car field. Time for the 5-minute warm-up before we go to our feature race tonight.
Yeah, it has definitely been an exciting night of racing thus far. And, of course, it just continues here for the Mud Rebels Dirt League Super Late Model. This is the H2O Nightclub Series, so it definitely going to be a great feature. I expect nothing less. Again, you're going to see some aggressiveness, I think. You're going to see some issues. Maybe they shouldn't be pressed a little too soon. They're going to get pushed. With this many cars, this much talent in one place, as we've said it repeatedly over and over again, it's just going to be a wild night. You don't know what's going to happen.
So it's looking to be about a 20-car grid tonight. It was a good 16, I believe, for the UMP modified race that took place just earlier tonight. About just a couple hours ago now. So, about a bigger field and again tighter tracks. So we are expecting the caution count to go up just a little bit. Hopefully not much. What we've seen, these are some pretty talented drivers, and we've seen a couple of issues under caution. A couple of drivers that have been overturned. So some things that are to look out for sure. And I think one of them is Daniel Passmore, because he has just also suffered some connection failures.
And not sure as well. There we go. We see him. Dustin Sizemore is back, so that is good to see that Sizemore is back on the track. And I want to point out that that is one chromed out machine right there. At first I thought it was a clear body, but it's actually just really, really shiny chrome. So I don't know what he used on that to armor all that thing or what, but it is ridiculously shiny today.
So some drivers making great use of the new spec maps that iRacing has put out, and a lot of teams I know across any kind of discipline, as there is a big incident right in front of Sizemore there. One car upside down and still wrecking each other over. That was Robert Tucker that went upside down too, so a bit of a mess in the front straightaway. But a lot of drivers, they've been utilizing the new spec maps that IRC's put on the cars, and that's what we get some of these, beautiful chrome liveries. And, across every single discipline here on the service, you'll be able to see these new chrome paint jobs popping up everywhere, and they do look darn good, don't they?
They definitely do, and we'll be seeing, hopefully, those beautiful chromed out machines stay in one piece later on tonight. We got 2 minutes until we really get a shot to see how this race is going to go. I want to say those first 10 laps or so are really going to dictate how this race goes. That's when people are going to be bunched up together. But you can be totally wrong. Usually those first 10 laps when they're bunched up, you're either going to see people being aggressive or not. However, the last 10 laps of a race, if they're close together, we very well could see a little bit more aggressive moves going on then as well, trying to bid for the top 3, top 5, or in some people's case, they're happy with the top 10 and they'll be fighting to get that.
Absolutely. So, a couple drivers are going to be looking to make some, different moves and hopefully try to, get themselves all sorted today. And, we did see one of our drivers from the last one, Barry Sorensen. He finished 4th in heat number 2. And we talked to him earlier today. He finished 6th place in the race earlier tonight. And he was telling us how, he's won races like this before. So he was definitely hoping for a top 5 or better. And with him finishing 4th place in the C, I don't think that's out of the question. I think it's a quite possibility we could be talking to again here soon. And I don't know, about 30, 40 minutes time.
Yeah, it won't be long. Again, that first race, roughly about an hour, and of course that was a pre-show and the post-race show as well. So it does not take long to get around this track, or any dirt track for that matter. They go so quick that you have to be on your game. We have to be on our game to cover it. These guys have to be on their game to make sure that they don't make any mistakes. Because as we saw in that last race, 1 or 2 little slip-ups and you can fall through the field very, very quickly.
Absolutely. So that is going to be the crucial factors for a lot of drivers to keep it smart, keep it cool, hit your marks, play it safe. Always be aware of your surroundings. So that's how things are going to be looking out tonight. And it would not surprise me, though, if a couple drivers pushing a bit too hard and we saw a couple of retirements before the end of this one. Warm-up is now finished, and it's time to go racing for 50 laps of Volusia.
It is 50 laps, going to be no time at all. Get 10 more laps in the last race, but a lot shorter track as well, as we went from 20-second times to 15, 16-second times. We're going to be wrapping laps up very quickly here tonight. You want to run through our first 10 drivers here on the grid, and then we'll go through the rest of that field.
I'll let you take care of that one, because it seems like my time screen is not updated yet, and it is not giving me the information that I am quite looking for.
All right, we'll go through it. Row 1 is going to be the 7 of Zach McSwain, and it's going to be that 74 Blake Brown on his outside. Look for some good battles between those two here tonight. Row 2 is going to be the 5 of Chris Fisher and the 33 of Evan C. Row 3 is going to be the 32 of BJ or Will Duvall and the 09 of Tanner Tomasi. Row 4 is going to be the 26 of Eric Scaff and the 8 of Daniel Passmore. Row 5 is going to be the 71 of Mario Perez and the 2 of Kenneth Payne, looking to get a better finish than he had in the UMP Modifieds. Row 6 is going to be the 45 of Barry Sorensen, who we talked to, hoping to get a good finish here as well. And the 007 of Jacob Fields. Row 7 going to be the 77 of Colton Sapatsky and the 15 of Tanner Folds. Row 8 is going to be the 12 of Kenneth Thompson, Devin Thompson, sorry, and the 13 of Robert Tucker. And of course, we'll switch that camera up for you. Row 9 is going to be the 11 of Dustin Sizemore and the 23 of Gavin Jordan. Row 10 is going to be the 22 of Drew Phillips and the 022 of Michael Elledge. And row 11 going to be the 42 of Michael Blessing and the 95 of Chad Bishop. And rounding out the field in row 12 is going to be the 80 of Edward Pancoast. And it looks like, we'll see, it looks like Michael Elledge, Chad Bishop, Edward Pancoast going to be scratches here for the A main event tonight. So, unfortunate for those drivers.
Indeed. So, sometimes that's what tends to happen. You get the couple drivers that tend to not, stick around, and it's a bit of a shame, but we are ready to get racing for 50 laps here tonight at Volusia Speedway. Pace truck going to lead the down. It's all in the hands now of Zach McSwain.
It is indeed. Pace truck drives off, and they're already on the loud pedal. Green flag is out, and we are racing. And what a field it is, too, as these guys going to be beating and banging, like you said, for 50 laps live here on LSRTV. And it's going to be an interesting one, as we've already set a good pace here. We made it through one lap. One lap is complete on lap 2. Zach McSwain still out front, and we got one in the wall.
One car up and into the wall indeed. That is Tanner Tomasi, a driver that was running really, really well early in the race, and he had a little bit of contact. Looks like to put him up into the outside wall down the front straightaway. In fact, it was the 32 car. BJ himself slides up right in front of Tomasi, and that sets Tomasi up and grinding along the catch fence to bring out our first caution of the night.
As we go back and watch the replay here, it's not the only one. Sparks are flying back in the back of the field. Not sure who that was. They scraped the wall, but obviously stayed off of it. About 5 positions back, and right there, big sparks from that 09. And that is going to leave some damage to the 09 machine, so we'll see. He is going to stay on the track, but he did have to go to the pits for 1.3 seconds. So he got in, got out, got what damage he needed fixed, and he's back out on the track and stayed on the lead lap through all of that as well.
Well, that's very good for him because you don't get your laps back here in dirt racing. So, you know, it's really good that you get those laps back while you can. So, first caution, and we are only 2 laps into this race. So, looking to be a bit of an answer one, of course. In the last race, we also had the caution come out again on the second lap. So, right now, trend is definitely following along with what we saw in our UMP modified race.
Yeah, you know, a trend going on. That's interesting. That didn't even kind of slip my mind, but yes, it did come out on lap 2. So, you know, consistency is good. You know, if that's the case, then we should see some green flag racing coming up here in a moment. As the lights are off on that pace truck, we will go back to racing this time, and it looks like we are going single file restart, and that is a feature of iRacing, a newer feature as well. And this is controlled by iRacing. At least this one, it can be. Well, I can't say for sure they're doing it this way, but if you get a caution within the first couple of laps of the race, it will automatically throw it to a single file, or if you get too many cautions in a row, it will throw it single file for the restart as the green flag is out, and we are racing one more time.
Pretty big check on further down in the field, and that's split the back half of the field up pretty big, but already double file up through the front portion of this field. You got Chris Fisher, who was up and into second place. Evan C. throwing it underneath Blake L. Brown. Brown trying to go for a cutback, but cannot get there. BJ hangs on to 5th place with Eric Scout trying to make moves as well. He's up into the top 5 now. Maya Perez trying to fight around that top side.
And Perez, one of the new guys here for us anyway, wasn't in that first race. And we're seeing just what he's made of here in that red line number 71 machine, and he is on the inside of a 32 machine of BJ trying to work the inside. Is it going to be enough? I don't know. Good news about the high side of this track, that wall is a little less forgiving than the back side or the guardrail at Knoxville, so you can hit it just a little bit harder and bounce off of it without totally getting stuck.
Car is almost going around in the back. Robert Tucker had a bit of a nasty run-in with Dustin Sizemore. Both cars actually doored each other coming off of 1 and 2, and then Sizemore must not have been happy because he got Tucker right back in 3 and 4 and muscled his way by. So it's a bit of physical driving there from Sizemore to work his way through. Somebody isn't happy on the racing surface.
Yeah, tempers flaring here tonight between Robert Tucker and Dustin Sizemore. Again, this is dirt track racing, like we mentioned. Fenders are going to get bent, tempers are going to get flared, and you got to think this isn't even any for big money in these big money races. So you throw one of those in, and it's all kinds of chaos happening. But up front, a huge battle going on. Blake Brown and Chris Fisher are going to be side by side, throwing slide jobs and crossover moves for that second position, or third position, sorry.
Well, Evan C. is trying to reel in your race leader, Zach McSwain, and he's all over the back of him, maybe trying to force him into a mistake. They are going to be approaching lap traffic here in Michael Blessing here pretty soon, and there it is. C up the inside, trying to go for the race lead here at Volusia on lap number 10. McSwain, though, able to pull that outside line, but still side by side through 1 and 2. Turns 1 and 2, that's where the inside line can really come in big time. Not so much in 3 and 4. Again, kind of a similar situation to what we saw at Knoxville, where the inside line is a lot better at one portion of the track in the first portion, but not so much in the second portion of the track. It's kind of interesting how that one plays out.
Yeah, and of course, you are hoping you're in the position that it's better for you coming to the line, because obviously that's the overall better spot to be when it comes to it. Otherwise, you know, if you're better in 1 and 2. It's not going to help you too much in the end. Lap car is coming into the picture, and contact between your race leader and the lap car, that 42. He gives him a little nudge, and he lets him by. That almost could have been ugly.
Just about was, and now here comes that 33 car, still trying to throw slide jobs up the inside, but he's just not able to get the power down off a turn forward to make that one work, and you can see McSwain is able to just come down and cover that inside lane as they go through 1 and 2. Once again, still side by side. This is going to be a battle that I can feel it's going to be, very prominent all throughout this race until one of them can win out and keep the other behind. And right now, Evan C., he's definitely got his nose in it. He just want to go, oh, and no, and McSwain throws it away, and that's a wreck on the top side of the racetrack. Your race leader has binned it. He might be able to take the lead back, though, as a result of that, and the caution is out.
He is indeed. We go back to watch the replay of this. Again, making a self-inflicted wound there, as we'll see right here, just coming around and just whoops it all by himself. There was not any contact here, and you'll see right there, coming around to the next set of corners, and right there loops it all by himself. It's one of those things. I said it the other day, when it comes down to a wreck, you would much rather have somebody else to blame, so you can yell and scream at them or whatever you got to do. But it's kind of difficult to yell at yourself. You just got to kick yourself in the shorts and say, why and what happened, what did I do, and kind of dust it off and get back to the front.
Well, Zach McSwain is going to have a hard time doing that, though. He is all the way down in last place. Looks like he might have gotten an EOL penalty as a result of all that. So McSwain is down currently in last place, save for Robert Tucker, who's in the pits. So he really did that one all to himself, though. That is, I feel, what C was trying to do, is trying to force his opponent into a mistake, and it worked like a charm because McSwain, there was not even close to contact. That was all on his own in that one.
Yeah, that's key. Is that you wanna see them. You don't want to see them. In this case, they really can't get hurt because it's a sim, obviously, compared to real life. But you don't want to see them wrecked out and out of the race. But you want to see them behind you in your rearview mirror. And you've got to do what you have to do, and of course cleanly. And he did that, no contact whatsoever. The pressure or something got to the 25. And around he went all on his own, just overdrove it just a little bit. Unfortunate, but for him, but good news for that 33. However, the bad news for Evan C. in that 33 machine is now he's got the 74 Blake Brown on his outside, right going to be on his bumper at the restart.
One lap delay on that restart, just so race control and all the other drivers can try to figure themselves out and make sure that everybody is exactly where they need to be. Of course, they were saying that if they needed to, they can extend the cautions out. That is the beauty of having these pace laps not count for the overall race distance. So it's going to be lap number 15 going on to 16 when we take the green flag once again, and it'll be Evan C. this time to lead him off. And will Blake Brown be able to make anything work? We saw him battling pretty hard with Chris Fisher, so we'll have to see how this one will play out.
As we get set to take the green flag, we're going to go to that flagman's camera one more time. Green flag is out, and we are racing. And one thing we have to account for here, too, is fuel. These guys love to live on the edge of fuel. With these extended cautions, did they put enough fuel?
Wreck in the back. I'm sorry to cut you off, but we've got one car barrel rolling, and it's Daniel Passmore that has just binned it hard, and he is done for the night for sure. He went crowd surfing there for a brief moment. Sorry to cut you off there again, Cody.
Oh, no problems. We'll go back and check this out as we catch the tail end of it. Upside down, parts missing off the car. We're going back to watch the replay on that one. The crowds turn out for the crashes, and we got the superstar of all crashes right here as we're watching the replay to see what happened. It looked like they were 3 and 4 wide, and he just got obliterated. And somebody is going to have to make sure we check on him on the infield care center.
Absolutely. So Passmore, it was 3 wide, and as you go into that bit more detail, Colton Sapansky, he's the one that was in the middle of that, but it was actually started by Kenneth D. Payne, who pushed up way too wide, hooked himself across the 77's bumper, and, past one. Innocent Bison, he got shoved into the wall. Not just any wall, he got shoved right where the wall actually juts out a little bit for the service road access there, and that put him up. He flew over the top of Japansky, and he went over the top of Devin Thompson, and I believe Tanner Folds as well. So he went over a few drivers on that before he went barreling down the back straightaway. It was a monster of an accident, though.
It was indeed, and it's been a long time on iRacing since I have seen a car barrel roll that many times down a backstretch. Is just a violent ride for Passmore. Unfortunately, we don't have him here to chat with him. I'd have loved to have a chat with him, and we just don't have the time as the lights will be going off soon. I'm not sure they may extend this one and sort it all out too, but again, a violent ride, and I still now, with these cautions, I want to know if some of these people packed enough fuel in these cars.
Now that's what we'll have to see. I haven't ever seen a fuel mileage race on the dirt. That would be a new one for me, and at that point, I would be able to safely say, well, I have seen it all, and it is going to be a single file restart. Evan C. will again be the one to lead them down. This will allow the opening here for Blake Brown. If he can keep on C's little jump, he will be able to maybe get to his inside and try to go for first place. So I have to wait and see how this will take place. Of course, another caution, certainly not out of the question, because as we very well know, cautions breed cautions. It'll be lap 17 when we take the green.
Yeah, not quite at the halfway point either. So we'll see as they get ready to take the green. And already on the loud pedal, green flag is out, and they're going 3 wide nearly at the line before we really even get this thing started. Somewhere about the 6th position. These guys are just beating and banging the tempers out here, and the aggression is huge tonight.
Everybody wants to go. They recognize, anything can happen, so you need to make up those spots whenever you can. A couple of cars going hard into the wall and in the back. It was the number 13 car, Robert Tucker, who almost goes around, and Devin Thompson, 2 drivers that nearly went around. They did body slam the outside wall to the front straightaway, kept it together, and still up front, still side-by-side battling all throughout this field as well. Mario Perez losing out on another spot here, about to lose out on the spot to Jacob Fields, who, remember, Fields started pretty far down the order, and he's now trying to threaten for a top 5 here, and still getting on the power to make sure he can try to get that done. Might try to slide up in front of that 71 machine here. He'll be able to get that pass all safe and sound through 1 and 2.
Yeah, and you have to keep in mind, the more these guys are battling hard up here, they keep going in the right direction. These guys towards the back that are beating and banging and slowing down on the track when they're doing so, that's going to allow these leaders like Evans Say, Brown, Fisher, Scaff, Fields to catch them even faster. Then you're going to have 2 and 3 wide cars battling for the lead with lap cars getting in the mix too. That is really going to shake things up here later in this race. As we're on lap 22, we're coming up close to the halfway point. So it'll be interesting to see how these lead lap cars that are actually battling for the lead in 2nd and 3rd place handle these lap cars that they're going to be catching here momentarily.
It'll be a difficult one, let me tell you that. It's going to be interesting to see how they go. They're almost going 4 wide, though, off of turn number 1 and 2. They were 4 wide for a brief moment, and that was between Tomosi and others. BJ among them with Sorensen caught up in the mix as well, and now it is down to Tomasi and Japansky almost going 4 wide again through 1 and 2. The aggression is definitely flaring right now as everybody's trying to find a way through however they can.
Yeah, and point out we talked to Barry Sorensen in that 45 machine. One of the youngest drivers I think I've ever talked to. He's holding his own out here in that 45 machine, battling with some of these drivers that we know are a lot older than he is. So he's definitely holding his own right in the middle here as he's next to that 32 of BJ. So BJ trying to get him, but he looks like he's going to take it to the bottom side. He may get him on this time. It looks like he does.
Some very young talent here on the racetrack tonight, and of course that is what you really want to see as he gets that class complete nicely on Will Duvall. So, it's always good to see the young talent on the track. It shows that, the esports community can definitely impact drivers of all ages, and it's showing into effect here that drivers of all ages can have a very good run himself. He's currently sitting in that top 10 he said he's won races in cars like this as well, and he wants to go for a top 5. He's going to have some work ahead of him, though. He might have to go for another caution. He does have Tomasi, and then, of course, he got Scalf and Perez, but he's been doing a good job holding his own right there, and caution has just come out once again, and looking around the track to see where this one happened, and it was over in turn number 1 here, Cody. Colton Sapansky, more contact, this time with Zach McSwain.
Zach McSwain, we'll see, is the scoring tower acting a little funky here tonight, so we're going to try to get to Zach McSwain. There we go. We'll take a quick look and see what happened to him. But unfortunate, Zach McSwain had a good run in the last race, having some difficulties here at Volusia, as right there gets a shot in the shorts, or gave a shot in the shorts anyway to the 77, and that will bring out the caution. So again, the shot in the shorts spins the 77. We go under caution here one more time. Pulled that up for you. That, of course, is your 4th caution. So we've had more cautions than we did in the last race. But again, the faster cars, shorter track, and faster lap times, you kind of expected to see a few more cautions here tonight.
Not only that, but a larger field and a slightly tighter track as well, because these cars are significantly bigger than the UMP Modifieds are too. So track is a bit tighter as well, and with all this in mind, just past the halfway point, lap number 28, and they are going to extend this yellow out as well. Of course, very, very quick cautions. So it's definitely what it's going to be. And, well, a couple of drivers are wondering now. Evan C's been staying out in front there. Somebody's inquired if he's got an autopilot on his car. So a couple of drivers apparently are a little jealous of Evan C's lead, that they want to take over.
That autopilot looks like he's got one on there as he is rocketing. They must not have seen that battle that was going on at the front earlier, because he was at highs, lows. He was all over the track. So if he's got an autopilot, he just put it on here once he had once the 25 went around, I believe it was, because he definitely was fighting and trying to get every inch he could to get that lead. So autopilot not engaged then. We'll see if it's engaged now, but that's going to allow that 74B to catch back up. But even with these cautions, really nobody's had anything for Evan C in that 33 machine. So, you know, it's really, I think, going to require a good jump here on the restart, and maybe a little bit of luck, because that 33 is on rails tonight.
Remember last time we went double file restarts, we did get a caution on the same lap when green. Let's hope we can last a bit longer this time on the green flag restart. It's going to be down to the hands of Evan C, who's again going to stomp on the power almost immediately, leading them all down to the green flag. A couple drivers weaving and wobbling. One driver bang into the wall, and that's going to be upside down almost. It was Kenneth Payne. Somehow, no caution for that one, and we're going to keep it green here.
As he went spinning it in a little bit of a tornado style. He went around and around. Probably got a little motion sickness there, but we stay green, like you said, and these guys putting on a good show here for about 3rd position. Evan C still out front, followed by the 74, but Jacob Fields, Chris Fisher, and you might even throw the 71 of Mario Perez in there as well. These guys putting on a nice little show for you here in the 3rd position. At least they were. They sorted out here at the moment.
Caution out again. Robert Tucker into the outside wall and up and on top of the grass embankment. And it was contact with Colin Japansky, and I almost wonder if that was intentional, because we didn't see it on the camera, never got to talk about it. But on that restart as well, one of those drivers put the other one into the wall, and I think Japansky got put into the wall by Tucker when he slid up in front of him on the front straightaway, and I think that might have been a retaliatory move from Japansky to then repay the favor to Tucker over in turn number 1. So Peppers flying a bit more than they might like to see here.
Yeah, they definitely are. And there you see it right there, the contact, and around goes the 17. Oh, we'll have to speculate if that was some retaliation. But again, to me, we know for a fact, it is not speculation, that we do know for a fact that dirt track racing, and even in some asphalt racing, maybe not as much, but in dirt track racing, tempers do flare, and people do retaliate quite often.
Even on road course racing is the same way. Really can't escape it in any kind of discipline. But I think definitely dirt oval racing, especially in late models. That's probably the truest statement of them all, if we're being completely honest. So Tucker now, he is lined up right behind Japansky, so that's going to be a very interesting restart if they manage to get to it. And looks like we are going to be going double file again here, and a couple drivers getting themselves sorted out still. Race control throwing the caution to extend things out a bit. Lap number 32 is when we're going to go green.
Yeah, we'll go ahead. Maybe we'll take a camera back there to the back of this field and see how the restart goes for these guys. But again, no love loss. Maybe we won't see one less person on his Christmas list, card list this year. At the end of the day, it saves you a present maybe. But again, some of these drivers, there is not going to be love loss between them at the end of the day.
Absolutely not. I've seen more than once where drivers will be extremely heated up right in the moment, and then the very next day they'll be playing it off like nothing ever happened. So that's just the nature of racing, and it does look like we are going to be going green this time around. So Pace Truck once again leading them around, and Evan C still in complete control of this race.
Yeah, he took that lead and just has ran with it. Nobody's been able to really do anything with him so far. Again, we have 20 laps to go. It's going to be 19 laps to go when we take the green. That's 19 laps for the 75 or the 74, even the 5 and the 71 back there behind him to figure something out as the green flag comes back out, and we are racing, and we got contact going around. The 17 and the 2 go around. I'm not sure if anybody else had a hand in that back there, but those two go around. No caution comes out. We continue racing.
Looked like one of those drivers might have gotten the power bit early, and there was a big check with the outside line, and Tucker just got punted by Kenneth D. Payne. It was one of those wrong plays, wrong time. That's the scenario. 4 wide, though, through 3 and 4 with Chris Fisher on the outside line, Eric Scalf in the middle. Zach McSwain trying to make something work in the bottom. Tanner Tomasi was in the middle of that. He decided to back on out. Probably a good decision from him. So now they're going back double file racing. So everything is really beginning to heat on up here. Less than 20 laps to go.
Yeah, 4 wide is tough at this track, but they make it happen somehow. These guys are just determined to get to the front at any cost, as they're going to go 3 wide one more time. You got the 25, the 26, and the 5. That is going to be, of course, Scaff, Fisher, and McSwain going 3 wide once again, going into the corner. These guys are not done yet. They are determined to get up to that front and get at least a top 3 out of the night.
And Chris Fisher managed to pull that outside line beautifully, and now here comes Scalp, who's still trying to make that look up the middle, but is not going to be able to really make that move on Fisher. Fisher's just too good around that outside line to really be able to have anything for them. Evan C still in complete control of that race out in front. So, this race has definitely been an exciting one so far. It's been a little more physical than that UMP modified race for sure. But, again, we expected that coming on into here. These cars, you can just bounce around them quite a bit more, and we're seeing that here tonight.
Yeah, you got right now, you've got the 75 and the 74 of Jacob Fields and Blake Brown. Those two battling hard for that runner-up position. As the 74, Blake Brown, who was in second, now he's third. He's trying to get that spot back. He does not want to settle for the third position. For that matter, he really probably doesn't want to settle for second. He wants the win. But right now, Evan C has got that one on lockdown as the battle continues for second place.
It's about heating up for second place, and Fields still able to hang on. We saw him being able to pull the outside line a bit more better in the final laps of the race. And fortunately, though, his compatriot, his rival for that race, didn't manage to get things, he managed to attack with his own move around the bottom side. So right now, he's trying to play that outside line again, see what can work for him. And Blake Brown definitely trying that inside line, trying to find a way around. Still side by side for second. If he can keep a solid line here through 3 and 4, though, I think Brown might be able to finally retake that spot by the time they get back around to turn 1. Still door to door, less than 10 to go.
And less than 10 to go, and they're 3-wheeling it around this track. Some of these guys are. Again, these are open sets. And contact between the 74. Brown's going to give a little door slam to the 75 of Fields, shove him up the track to take the position. So again, a lot of aggressive moves going on here, especially in these closing laps with coming up on 7 to go.
Not a lot of time left for some of these drivers, and the aggression, we've seen it starting to ramp up big time, and that's coming into play again here tonight. And Chris Fisher now trying to work around Mario Perez, trying to go for a top 5 position, and meanwhile you still got Eric Scalf who's trying to make up whatever he can as well. Coming across, it's going to be 6 laps to go at the line. Not a lot of time left at all in this one. Perez almost making contact with Fisher. And it looks like a couple of drivers, bit of a wiggle in the back for Scalf as well. So everything is really heating up as we come around 5 laps to go.
And that 71 machine of Perez is really getting that front lifted up off the ground. And when he does that, you saw what happened. He almost got into the 26 of Eric Scalf. He's really Scalf, so he's not able to control the car when he doesn't have that front wheel on the ground. And he almost lost it in getting into the 26, but he manages to hang on to it. As out front, we have your leader starting to catch lap cars. That is going to be the 20 that he is coming up on, I believe. It is. I'm not sure which driver that is. That is going to be Devin Thompson, and he's going to let him by. He's not going to fight him. No surprise there. These guys are pretty good at, letting the leaders by.
And Thompson wanting absolutely no part in that lead fight. Does not want to be, blamed for something that's not his fault. Coming around with just 2 laps to go for Evan C. He has been in complete control of this race, and he's pulled a 1.7 second gap, and that gap only grows with every single lap. Throwing it through 3 and 4 for the second to last time today. White flag here at Volusia.
And of course, there it is. White flag is out. It is your Eco 1 lap to go here at Volusia Speedway Park. As right now it belongs to Evan C, or C, I believe C. Either way, he's going to be in victory lane as we're going to be talking to him hopefully here in a little bit. And right there, he's going to do it. Your race winner here tonight. And of course, coming in the top 3 is going to be Blake Brown, followed by Jacob Fields. McSwain just a little short. We got him piling up on the front stretch.
Huge wreck as well as they crane to the start-finish line. Devin Thompson getting run over from the back by Tanner Folds. And Folds slammed the outside wall, got up in the air, got hit by Colton Szczepanski, and was sent flipping and flying across the finish line to end things off.
Definitely a wild finish to round out the night of racing right at the flag stand. And of course, we were on the flag stand to catch it all. Couldn't have asked for a better camera view. We're going to get over to the post-race show here in a moment, but before we do, of course, we need to run through your results for tonight's race, and it was a wild one, and it was actually the second race of the night, as we'll go through those. Nolan, you want to run through those top 10, and they'll bring us home to the show.
We'll even see after his competition, Zach McSwain was done. He was able to dominate that race, and Blake Brown was not able to catch up to him in second place. Jacob Fields, a solid podium position with McSwain. A beautiful recovery drive for him, coming at home in 4th place. Chris Fisher down in 5th with Mario Perez in 6th. Eric Scalf down in 7th place. Tanner Tomasi in 8th. Dustin Sizemore in 9th with Colton Szczepanski rounding off your top 10.
And the one that we talked to wanted a good finish, probably a little short of where he wanted to finish. That is Barry Sorensen. 12th place will be Tanner Folds. 13th, Gavin Jordan. 14th will be BJ or Will Duvall. 15th will be Michael Blessing. 16th, Drew Phillips. 17th, Kenneth Payne. 18th place will go to Robert Tucker. 19th, Devin Thompson. 20th will go to Daniel Passmore. And of course, scratches here for your A main event going to Michael Elledge, Chad Bishop, and Edward Pancoast. Not going to make your A main event here tonight in 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. We will be right back here with your post-race show coming up here in just a few moments. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We have two of our top three drivers in. Of course, this is your Clan Wars servers post race show. Of course, your Clan Wars servers, your official communication partner of LSRTV. And again, we have second place and your race winner here. Of course, starting with second place, Blake Brown. Blake, welcome to the booth. And a great race here for you. Just a little bit shy on getting the win. First and foremost, what do you think you needed to get by Evan here for the win?
Better wheel man. He's top notch. You ain't gonna beat him most of the time. He don't make mistakes. I make a lot of them.
Well, it was a great race. You got to dive right into the track itself. I don't see a lot of black slick out there. So how is this track handling? And we know they were open setups. How is that car handling as well?
It was good. The track was actually kind of slick. It might not have looked it, but it felt like it was. But it was pretty good.
We definitely had a blast here watching it in the booth and calling all of the action. Uh, Again, what are your thoughts on this track? I know this track, a lot of people like it, a lot of people don't like it. What are your thoughts coming in to Volusia here?
50-50 on it. It's either I do really good or I do really bad. And tonight I did decent. So tonight I liked it, but just depends, I guess.
Well, there you have it. 50-50. Just depends on where you finish. A good answer there, of course. And last but not least, I'm sure you got some sponsors on that car you need to thank. So who would those be for that second place finish here tonight?
Team VLR. I like Evan. Thank Evan. He helps me out quite a bit. Uh, iRacing, iFlag, and that's about all. Dirty Grass Soul, you guys are putting on the broadcast.
All right, well, again, congrats on a second, and I believe no one has caught up with our race winner, so we'll hand it down to him.
Thank you, Cody. And first of all, Evan C, congratulations on winning the race tonight. It was a pretty intense fight between you and Zach McSwain to the opening laps of the race. You were trying to do everything you could. You were going high, going low, trying the middle, trying to find a way around. And eventually, on one of those restarts, well, he ended up taking himself out, and you just dominated the race from there on out. What was going through your mind as all of that unfolded?
Yeah, I knew it was gonna be pretty fast in the beginning of the race. I felt like we had a good setup that was just good enough, kind of in the slick, but pretty good and attacky there. So I just, seeing I was running them down, I didn't want to intentionally take them out because it's easy to do here with net code, and I think I ended up net coding them there, which kind of sucked. I'd rather have passed them, without having any sort of contact there. But I mean, yeah, it was pretty fast in the beginning, and I just kind of wanted to get a lead. I felt like I could pull away once I did, and yeah, it sucked there for Zach. I hated that happened, but overall, we had a pretty fast pace throughout the whole race.
And how do you think the track came into you throughout the race? Because you started down in fourth place and you only managed to pull away with a second place in your own heat race. Started fifth in that one, and obviously track progression does have a big factor to do with that. So, did the track? It looked like the track really came through to you tonight because you're making it look easy out there in front.
Yeah, I knew where the track was going to be at, kind of there for the race. I didn't get any practice laps, so I just kind of swung at it for the heat race there and just tried to get a decent start in order for the race. And I mean, it was pretty fast in warm up. I knew it'd be fast towards the beginning of the race. It kind of in the middle usually gets pretty slick here, so you kind of just have to run the bottom or the top for a while, or the slaughter line. And I just felt real good on the slaughter line once it kind of got to that certain stage there toward the warm up, and kind of just stuck with that the whole race. It felt, if you had a setup that can run it, it felt like it was the fastest line there.
And once again, we would like to congratulate you on that win today as well from a dominant performance after you managed to take the lead away from Zach McSwain. Before we let you go tonight, who gets it done for that number 33 machine?
Yeah, I just gotta thank all the guys at Team VLR, Full Throttle Performance, Iris and I Flag, Kevin Deadman, Dirty Grass Soul, Captain Ben Morgan, and Jim Emery at Superman Graphics for all the paints. He does a good job. And yeah, just thank the Mud Rebel Dirt League for putting this on, and thank y'all for broadcasting.
That was your race winner tonight, Evan C., and I'll pass things back over to you, Cody.
All right, well, to wrap things up, a little bit interesting here. Race 1 pretty much dominated by D1RT guys. And then, of course, race 2 going to Team VLR. So, two powerful teams here on iRacing getting the job done tonight for both racing action. Again, any final words here to wrap up two amazing races, Nolan?
Well, like we figured it would be, the late model race was, of course, a lot more packed with fireworks. Tempers overflowed in some cases, but, overall, very, very good performance from everybody involved. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Uh, Again, great racing as you just said. And, of course, on behalf of myself, Charles, Nolan, Will, who obviously putting all of this on, and everybody involved that makes it all happen here at LSRTV in the Mud Rebels Dirt League. We hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast, and we'll see you tomorrow with the Adrenaline iRacing League.